You're listening to The Mentality Show, only on LA Talk Radio.
Yeah, fool.
All right, welcome back. What's up, everybody? This is episode 45 of The Mentality Show. We are here. We are happy. We are healthy. Here, happy, and healthy. That's all we want. Those are the good H's, right?
Those
the
are
good
very
H's.
The good H.
Here, happy, healthy. You don't want a bad H. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
Do your research. Look up our show on YouTube. You're learning about all the bad H's.
Delano has the happy H's and the bad H's.
You gotta, mix them up a little bit.
circle.
You know?
Full
so
circle. Gotta balance.
I keep it real. So now it is. We are back. This is episode 45. Good to be here. Let me introduce myself. We are The Mentality Show. And I am your host, Delano, and that's it. Let's get into our topic here now. I got my man. I got my co-host here, my buddies, my bros. Let me introduce them to you. We got Scully, a.k.a. Redhead Clark Kent, a.k.a. Red Dead, a.k.a. the Pumpkin Beard.
Now I know
Scully.
what you guys are talking shit about.
That's what we were talking, yeah.
How you feel, Scully? You feel good?
I'm feeling pretty fucking good, surprisingly enough.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you here. You weren't here with us last week. We missed you. And
You guys didn't even bring me up. Fuck off.
That's how much we missed you.
Yeah.
you were in our thoughts. Yes. And I got my man here, Sexy Texy, a.k.a. the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Drinking my beer.
Buddy Light, Buddy Heavy, whatever you want to call him, a.k.a. here today. How you feeling, man?
AKs.
We'll get them right now.
How you feeling?
Bastard.
I wrote these before the show. How you feeling, Tech?
I'm feeling good.
Feel good?
I feel good.
All right.
How
You don't
feel?
smell good, but you feel good. That's
burp.
what matters.
I might smell.
This guy, man, please keep the burping to a minimum on the show. When you burp, turn your face away from the microphone. That would be helpful, you know.
When we just shift in conversation, just throw one out there.
I'm surprised he didn't do one there. I got my man, Vato V, a.k.a. the Waffler, a.k.a. the Mexican one in the house. How you feeling, buddy?
What's up? I'm feeling good,
You feeling good? Are you feeling good or you feeling bad? I don't know. You waffle sometimes.
I feel great.
I call him the Waffler. Vato V can't make up his mind sometime. You know?
I can't.
He hates it when I call him that, so I'm going to keep calling him that.
Especially when we text each other and somebody over here acts like a metro female.
That's his AKA.
He's the what? He's the queen, a.k.a. Queen Metro.
I'm sensitive. I am very in touch with I wear my feelings on my sleeve.
Is that what the Q stands for?
He's a biatch.
All right, from Metro to biatch. Okay, that's how we do. That's what we're doing today. All right, so and let's get into
he's our new homeless one. Look at him, homeless.
Okay, the way I'm dressed today, it is raining. It's been raining all day. I woke up this morning. They say I'm all Metro and everything. So today I said, you know what? I'm just going to put my other type of expensive clothes on. And but you know what? No matter what I wear, I look good. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's a weird combination. Metro, homeless guy.
That's fair.
Go figure.
So we're taking donations. We need a shopping cart and a small dog.
They're just mad because all their AKAs that I threw at them. So I'm giving their moments. So, all right.
AKA one chain instead of two chains over here.
All right. Our guest is better than us.
There you go.
Can I get into the guest?
You can't take the heat. Stay out of the kitchen, buddy.
It's expensive to look homeless in LA.
Isn't it? Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get my LaShawna Dunn look on, man. You know? So we had one of our former guests was LaShawna Dunn, and we call him the LaShawna Dunn, the homeless one, because he looked homeless. But
so
anyway,
he took his spot.
It's all the rage. It's seriously.
It is. This is a hot look. I'm telling you. This beanie costs $30 alone.
That's not a beanie. That's a do-rag.
This beanie, sir, costs more than all the beers you've drank on this show. But anyway.
And then it screams, I don't give a shit, but it costs a lot of money to do that.
And it looks good. It looks good.
A homeless beanie, so you need
Can I get into my case, please?
H on the front.
All right. Now, our very special guest,
yes.
She's here with us today. Awesome. I'm going to give you her name in just a second, but let me tell you about just half of, maybe a third or a fourth of her accomplishments. She's one of the hottest comedians working on the comedy circuit today. Yep. She has a 1-hour special titled I Wrote a Song About It, available on Amazon. And if there's anything I missed, too, you can also inform the people as well. She's appeared on NBC, Comedy Central, Netflix, VH1, True TV, many other channels. She's performing some of the most top comedy venues all over the nation and abroad. She's host of the popular Perfect 10 podcast with over 1 million downloads to date. She's produced the first ever comedy visual album called Limeade, available on YouTube and Amazon. Please welcome to the show, Miss Lahna Turner.
Yes. Welcome.
Please welcome Miss Lahna Turner. So good to have you. So good to have you here. So, Miss Turner, you are
Lahna.
Lahna. There you go. LT. No. So you've done a lot of, you've done so many things on the comedy circuit. You've been around for a long time. Your style of comedy is a little different than most other female and male comedians out there. How would you describe to our mentalians? How would you describe your style of comedy?
I'm a musical comic, so I'm like I'm a songwriter who wrote really funny songs and then discovered stand-up through that. So like I would go and play gigs with music and then throw out a dirty funny song and discovered that was my strong suit.
Nice.
So yeah, I ended up in doing stand-up, which is absolutely my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I love stand-up.
It's so much fun.
Absolutely.
So
it's therapeutic too for people who are going
therapy.
through things.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. I say that all the time.
I get through a lot of stuff on stage.
Yes.
And the crazy part is I've been doing stand-up so long now that by going through the crazy bad stuff in your life and making it into comedy, I've gotten to the place now where I can do that, which is really cathartic.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
Right. What is cathartic?
Crazy.
Anybody know what that means?
For those, I don't know.
Yeah. we're not. We're kind of.
Did you say fartic?
Yeah, that's what I heard. So my fear is someone being on the show and using a word and expecting me to know what that word means, and then I'm
feels
just
good.
Yeah. So I just sort of play it off.
Orgasmic? That would be.
Yes.
That's
I know what that
flavor.
means. Yes. We all know what that means.
Yeah, I know what that is.
It's
Right.
an awesome feeling though to be able to like get a room of people to laugh at something that you are going through that is hurtful, and that
Right.
other people are also maybe hurting from a similar thing, and that they can laugh and release the tension. But I also just love a good dick joke too.
There you go. Always say we do it all the time here. Yes.
You ask me what my style is.
Donald
it's
just likes a
dick
good dick.
jokes. Lots of them.
We love our dicks here.
As you should.
Yes.
Speak for yourself.
You don't love your own. Oh
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. He loves his vagina.
I'm good.
If it makes you feel any better, I love your dick.
There's that waffler going.
There you go. Exactly. He doesn't know if he loves his dick or his vagina.
She don't like your balls though, bro. I did a little
balls.
research, and the balls are ugly. They hang low and they're hairy and they're gray.
Yeah. So let's talk
and
about this.
balls.
We don't really. Let's get a woman's opinion on dick and balls here.
Okay.
Talk about balls.
Got it.
Dicks are important. Dicks are great. We love our dicks. Balls. Women. Some women love balls. Some women don't. What's the deal?
It depends on the guy it's attached to. Honestly. Like
That's a good point.
A good taut pair of balls attached to a really great guy is
There
a
you go.
wonderful thing.
There you go.
But if the guy is not that into him, you're really not going to be into his balls either.
That's true. That's true.
That's me, but I can't speak for all women.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But I mean, you've
imagine.
got balls. You've got to love your own balls.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My balls now, we go way back.
Way back into his ass.
Don't sit on them.
Oh, they don't hang that low, thank goodness. Oh, that
As
would
a
be good.
woman, like I can't pick a part of my vagina that I don't like, and I would rather my partner not either. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to be with somebody, you got to like all of it.
Absolutely.
Full package.
The full
Absolutely.
package.
Wet vagina, dry vagina, as long as it doesn't have an H vagina.
We're
That's
good too.
Yeah.
Bringing up the H's.
Yeah. In case you don't know what H's are, we talk about it on the show all the time. You don't want to catch anything that starts with H.
No.
Hepatitis, HIV, herpes,
HPV.
HPV, any of those.
For some women, husband.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They're all H's.
Yeah. So as long as your vagina doesn't have an H, we're good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So
Actually, if it's homeless, you might be interested.
Then it has
Homeless
all the
vagina.
H's.
homeless vagina. I've never thought
It may
about
not
that.
smell good, but
Yeah, we're good.
you love it.
Ugh.
Give it a home. Give it a home.
Give it home.
So I
Give it
noticed
warm.
you said the balls depends on who it's attached to. What about the dick? Does it depend, or it's pretty much dick is dick?
No, I mean definitely different dick, different results. I
Right.
think I'm not the dick expert as much as I'd like to be. I haven't had that many, but I definitely same thing. I feel like if it's attached to the right person, then you're gonna love it. But I do think from a lot of the people that I've talked to. Like, I've never been with a man that like just had absolutely like the tiniest thing. But I feel you're like, oh,
they're out there somewhere.
No, but I think that even that, like, if you love somebody, then there's ways to work through it. And I mean, your mouth still works. But
Exactly.
There you go.
But wouldn't you get tired of oral sex? You were with a man
Yes.
with a small penis. You would get tired of oral sex over a certain amount of time, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, so
you
like,
you're going to want the D
Yeah.
pretty soon.
well, and I mean, I loved my husband dearly, but he wasn't my type. I wasn't super attracted to him. So, and when we were connected intellectually, I loved him, and it didn't matter about his physical appearance. But as he changed mentally over time with addiction, then I really didn't want to be with him anymore physically. So for me, it's very connected to the person. But I think a lot of people are very physically attracted to people, and so that means a lot more to them. I'm a weird person. I feel like I'm an anomaly in that area.
Well,
you know what,
I think a lot of women think just like you do. You know, it depends on some women get turned on intellectually, some women get on physically. So you know,
Yeah,
depends
and
on
men
the woman.
too. I would think it just depends on the person, and so like the package that the person comes in, you can fall in love with someone with an H
There
and
you go.
forgive them for it if they're it
That
could
is very true.
happen. Like, so we make rules for ourselves for what you think are going to happen, and then you meet somebody and you're like, wow, turns out I'm not so I'm a better human being than I thought I was.
He's the perfect H.
Jessica Alba has an H, and I think
that
Delano
you're
would love
not-
her
I don't
still.
think you're- I don't-
Guys, I have to
I
ask
don't think you're out
something.
of the ordinary there, though. I feel like most women would feel that way. I mean, if they don't, there's probably something wrong with them.
Maybe,
Yeah.
or people get into relationships for the wrong reasons, and
Yes.
a lot of, I mean, even if you get in for
True.
the right reasons, it still ends. But you get into something with somebody based on certain things, and those change over time. I mean,
Almost definitely.
you fall in love with a guy with a big dick. Someday he might not be able to get hard.
That's true.
There's all kinds of things that happen.
And he turns
And-
into the big dick.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Big weak dick.
So Delano, how does that feel, Delano?
You got to work through that with that person, so you got to love
Tell
them.
me. You know all about my dick, huh? Okay, so
Wait just a second.
Yeah. Now we're getting into some.
See that? He's coming out.
no, you asked me.
I didn't ask you.
She said something about weak dick, and you were like, "Yeah, Delano, how did you know I had weak dicks?" Anyway, so
Talk about it all the time.
we got to get into this here. You mentioned your husband, so you were married to the late great Ralphie May.
Yes.
He's a comedian. He passed away a few years ago. It was what year, 2 years ago?
Almost
something
a
like
year, a little more than a year ago. He passed away a year ago, October.
that.
So
A year
it's
ago,
been
October.
a year and a half.
Right.
Since he
Okay.
passed. Yeah.
So he was very this man was a very top notch popular comedian. Can you explain to us how that whole process, how that whole experience was with him from beginning to the end? And you mentioned his addictions and things like that, and I remember you mentioning on another show when he passed away, he only had about $288 in his bank account. So that whole process, that surprised a lot of people. Can you explain how that process was from beginning to end, and how he ended up in that situation and things
Wow.
like that?
That's a
Yeah,
lot,
it's a lot of
questions.
stuff. I know 8 questions in one, right?
So when I described my husband a minute ago as not being my husband, when I met him, and I'm not exaggerating, he was 800 pounds.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And Ralphie was not a wealthy man. He didn't have money. He didn't have fame or success. That was 7 years. I met him prior to him actually getting on Last Comic Standing and it jump-starting his career. So we lived in a 400 square foot studio apartment in a bad area, and then we moved to off Crenshaw to another bad area. And then our lives changed when he got on Last Comic. And I adored him. I really did. And this is a fast forward to the story, but as time went on, he was sick. Like, I didn't realize what addiction meant, but obviously he wore his addiction. He was a food addict.
Right.
He lost weight due to gastric bypass surgery, which that's what sparked our marriage, because I believed in his ability to be a healthy man. But it didn't progress past that. He lost actually 300 pounds on gastric bypass, but then hovered between the mid 4s to the mid 5s for the
Wow.
rest of our time together.
Right.
The crazy part is we shot a documentary. So he left me. A lot of people read, there was an article in TMZ that announced that I had filed for divorce. That's not the case. He filed for divorce. He just did it in Tennessee. So I countered the filing in California. And he filed on the heels of an oxycodone withdrawal. He was a mess. And it's in this documentary. You can, it's crazy. Like, we filmed this. So the year prior to him leaving me, we started filming because he was going to have lap band because the gastric bypass just wasn't enough. And actually, craziest part about that is that he'd had a stomach surgery before he'd even had the gastric bypass. So he was trying to get his third surgery.
Wow.
And I was against it. I'm like, couldn't we just put duct tape over? Like, it's not your stomach size. It's
your brain.
Exactly.
But he just wanted anything. And at that point, I remember saying to him, look, if you don't get the weight off, you're going to be dead in 2 years. I told him that. And from that conversation, it was actually closer to 3 years that he died. But during that conversation, he decided to get lap band. And I hired my friend Kat Reinhardt, who's also a comedian, who is a filmmaker. And we bought a really expensive camera setup, and she started following him for 9 months. She followed him on the road. And she edited a film that ended with him filing for divorce.
Wow.
And then he died.
Wow.
Wow. And he died. It was an ugly divorce. Like, he left the marriage, and then he was super angry at me. I wish I had done... I didn't do anything to deserve his anger, but I think he was just really struggling.
Right.
You said he was on oxycodone as well.
Oh, he was on... I mean, he used to call his backpack Whitney because it was black and full of pills.
Wow.
Ralphie May. That's Ralphie May for you.
I never used to snoop as a wife. I was really good about not snooping until he went to rehab. So what happened was it's a really long story, but he had pulmonary embolisms after his health was deteriorating a long time earlier. He'd actually I was thinking about it the other day, he'd had a kidney stone that put him in the hospital, and when we were in New York, it was a really bad hospital, and that's where he contracted the pneumococcal for pneumonia. So like a couple weeks later, he fell sick with that, and then he was on a cruise, and the pneumonia progressed, so they took him off the boat on a gurney, and he was really close to his oxygenation level was so low that he was almost dead.
Wow.
So he was in the hospital. His sister saved his life. She's a nurse. She drove him from Orlando because we were in Tampa and put him on a heparin drip. 13 hours later, up in the ICU unit, he threw a series of clots. He stopped breathing. His eyes dilated and started to shake. And I was standing right there, and I'm like, he was on death's doorstep. A pulmonologist was 20 feet away, ran in the room, and they kept him alive through the night by blowing. Like, I didn't think he was going to make it. They told us he had about a 30% chance of making it through the night.
Wow.
But he pulled through, and then after 9 days in the hospital, he came out. And he couldn't smoke weed. He was a big pothead. But he could take oxycodone, Xanax, Percocet, the whole cocktail.
Right.
And so that's when his personality really started to change. So the timing on this is a little off for me, but shortly after that, about a year or so, maybe 2 years, ended up, he was such a mess. He went to rehab. He went to like this posh Malibu rehab. And at this place, they had me go in a room, and they opened up Whitney, his backpack. Wow. And that's when I realized how fucked up he was on the pills. Wow. They literally, if you shook his bag, it was like the Mary Poppins of pills and weed and everything else that came out of that bag. And so after that, I started snooping more.
Of course.
And so he was on a lot of shit.
Wow.
And he had a lot of people in his life who would bring him everything he wanted, and those people, I'm mad at Ralphie for what he did, but I don't understand that. I understand what they got. They got money and they got other things, but that's a special person to do that. But anyways, that's kind of a lot.
It's the drug life.
So
Michael Jackson,
but the document, Michael Jackson's a perfect example. Like
Right.
he's on something that knocks people out for surgery, and nobody around, and he's emaciatedly thin, and the people around him are just like, Michael's great, and propping him up. Like, that was Ralphie, and at that point, he kicked me out of his life because I was adamant that he go back to rehab.
It was the drugs.
It was
the drugs.
And the people around him wanted me out of the way too. And then from that point on, he was just mad at me. So the last year of his life, we didn't talk. We just couldn't. He wasn't present for his children. The drugs really took his life. Before he died. But I was gonna say, the documentary is what's so insane, because when somebody famous passes, a lot of times you'll get a bio of their life, and you'll get interviews from people who knew them and footage from their life. We have a film that shows what happened.
His demise.
And I saw the most recent edit, it's really hard for me to watch it because I'm in it and
course.
I'm a mess
Right.
in it.
Right.
But it's an incredible film. Objectively, as somebody who likes documentaries,
It's
Right.
it's not available yet.
it's not available yet. It's
What's it going to be called, and where is it going to be available?
the title we're struggling with. It's hard to. If you've ever had to title something, we've had several different working titles.
I do it
One-
all the time with these guys. I tell them it's hard.
Yeah, you
so.
give them all time. Well, maybe you can help me come up with the title.
We
but
will.
We've been working. I've had to be very. I'm a producer on it, but I can't give too many notes because I'm also a subject. So I let
Right.
the woman who created it, and she's brought in some other experts to consult with. But we don't have a title yet. It is submitted to a couple of festivals right now.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
you will see it. It
Yeah.
will come out sometime in the new year. There's the burp. There's the burp. Actually, that's the name of the documentary right there. That
There you
was
go,
it.
the burp.
That's just just that noise. That's what we're gonna call
This
it.
guy burps at always the wrong time.
You know what? Sometimes you need it.
I can't help the burp.
I have to thank you for that
I can't
because that
help
was
the burp.
getting
I just
really
brought
deep.
us out. I
Hey,
just brought us
balls
out of
deep.
this.
And then the sad part of
So.
this interview.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's a little bit daunting to be a comic, and then I don't know how it'll affect things, but. And here's the thing. So getting back to the $288 in the bank
I was going
account,
to ask about that.
the film is going to help keep my children and me in our house because he didn't leave us much. As crazy as that sounds, like to know what Ralphie earned in our lives together and what we earned together. I mean, I used to work with him and for him, and
Right.
I mean, he was a generator of income. And when he died, he had $288. The business managers in Nashville, these guys, Vaden Group, were pulling money out of his account after he died. For them, they paid themselves, and I had to go to court with them, and they were still trying to get more money out of the estate. And the judge looked at them and was like, "You took money out after he died? Like that's so illegal."
Right.
Of course.
And they just were like,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're just
Are you going to get a chance to recoup that money back?
No, it's all gone. It's all gone. And then like other people, like his manager, who wasn't really his manager, sued the estate. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, all that does is cost legal fees, which he's suing Ralphie's children. The craziest part about him is he works, and his brother, I guess, I don't know the relationship exactly, but they own the club in Nashville called Zanies. So I had to go to court to see him about. He actually took copies of the hard drives too. For the documentary, he thought he had the only copies and refused to return them. And it turned out I had my own copies, but I had to get them back. So we went to court for that issue, and I show up in Nashville, and they were running a benefit show for Ralphie.
Wow.
Wow.
They ran two or four shows in Nashville, the benefit shows that didn't benefit the estate, but benefited them
So
who
they
were
can get paid.
suing the estate.
Oh, of course. They need to get paid.
Yeah, so they're
Unbelievable.
still making Ralphie work to pay give them money while they're suing Ralphie's children. Unbelievable people.
Wow.
Like it just
How,
blows my
how,
mind.
how do they sue the children though?
Well,
I don't get that.
because when you sue the estate,
Yeah.
whatever
Suing the-
money's left
that's
goes.
theirs.
It's the kids.
Right.
So here's a man who was supposedly.
And when you say the estate, like you're talking about his assets, like
Yes,
his
house,
property,
home,
and
property.
everything?
Wow.
So I've learned a lot of big words this year, like probate and what falls in and out. So if you're listening now and you don't have your wills
Yeah,
worked
get
out,
that
shit
get
done.
that
Get
shit
done.
done. It
Life
doesn't matter
insurance.
if you
all
don't
those
have
things.
it. Well, he didn't have life insurance. His policy actually lapsed about 4 to 6 weeks before he died. He had a very small policy.
Wow.
They let it lapse because I would have been the beneficiary, but it would have been it was very small. It wasn't a
Yeah.
lot because he couldn't qualify for much in the way of
because
life
of his
insurance.
health.
Yeah.
No, really, the film is the life insurance policy, but and out of that we were able to derive one last 1 hour special because there was a lot of footage of him doing stand up. So there's 2 projects coming out of all that footage.
Wow.
But yeah, like if you don't have your estate in order, and I'm not talking estate, like you might even just have a dog.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have that shit written down with an attorney because so what you have is you have like. This is all complicated, not fun, not dick jokes. But if you have, a trust, certain things fall inside the trust, certain things fall out. So like then, and then there are people who feel like they're owed money, they can pursue the estate. So this man thought he was owed money, and he came after the estate, and which is basically what was left for Ralphie's kids.
Do you have an attorney?
I
Lana?
do.
You do?
Yeah,
That's
which
fighting
is,
for
which
you?
costs money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So like these people, you're like, dude. So that's why they ran a benefit show, so Ralphie could help pay their legal fees
Of
while
course.
they
Yeah.
sue
It's
the
the name.
estate of Ralphie.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what though?
crazy, right?
That shit's karma for those motherfuckers to go after people like shit that
Kids.
belongs to the kids. Like man,
Well, it wouldn't take much
It's
for
just
people to
shitty.
figure out who it is. So right
Yeah.
now is karma. Like you could actually figure
Yeah.
out who this is,
Yeah.
Right.
and then like, oh, next time in this particular place.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to that
It's the
person.
shittiest.
Of course.
Yeah.
Shitty people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit bastards.
So that's instant karma, and I
Yeah.
like talking about it because it's cathartic for me. Again, on like as a
Cathartic.
comic, you can
Yeah.
talk about it,
Yeah.
and you know, like it makes for a great story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, one
have to
dude
help you
tried
with
to
the
steal
title.
his car. One of his
Really?
his opening act in Vegas tried to steal his car. I had to go to Vegas. I had to fly there. I had no
Wow.
money. I had a coupon on United. It was $75. I had a $50 voucher I got. So I flew to Vegas, took an Uber. The Uber driver was so nice. He waited with me at a gas station, turned off the meter. We waited for the cops to show up. 4 cops came. We went over to the guy's house, and and the cops knocked on his door, and he wouldn't come to the door, and I had the extra set of keys. So I pushed the car alarm, and the alarm's going off in the house. He turns it off.
Dumbass.
I do it again. He turns it off. We keep going back and forth. The cops are laughing their asses off until he finally comes outside and but that's the house where Ralphie died.
Wow.
So that's why his car was there, and he wasn't going to give it back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Isn't
man.
that crazy?
People are fucked
Yeah.
up.
Fucking
Yeah.
crazy ass people.
Wow. So, go ahead.
No,
Sure,
no,
sure.
These
Yeah.
are great stories, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Yeah, it was an all right
Crazy,
here.
yeah.
And I can say this, like, it's been a year and a half, and my kids are doing pretty well. Like,
That
the
was my
loss,
next
That's
question.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the loss is terrible.
Of course.
It's been really hard.
Yeah.
But
Of
we're
course.
good. Like we somehow like we had enough once I started selling the car and selling assets and moving through stuff. We were able to stay in our house, and so far, knock on wood, we're going to be able to get through it. But
Good.
it was scary
good.
for a while.
Most
and,
definitely.
And I can help other people, which is a real gift. Like if anybody you know has lost a parent. As a child, like a kid, they have programs like Our House is a great one in LA, where you can go. It's a bereavement center, and they have a camp for kids that have lost somebody in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Oh,
this
that's
summer.
awesome.
They're going to be enrolling in a few weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can actually send your kid to a camp with other kids that have lost a parent or sibling
Wow.
in the last
Wow.
3 years.
That's
And
cool.
so I
It's
mean,
good
I
to
have
know.
all this information, and I
Yeah,
like
that's
to help
cool.
other people.
Oh, perfect.
How many children do you have with
Two.
Ralphie? 2 children. Okay, so when this whole project is ready and good to go and titled and things like that, please let us know.
Yes.
We'd love to bring you back and
Yes, promote it.
promote it and talk about
most
it and let
definitely.
our Mentalians out there know about
Yes.
it so we can get the proceeds that are needed to take
Thank
care of
you.
your
Almost
children.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Oh,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what's next for Miss Lahna Turner? What are some of your future projects coming up besides what you've already mentioned?
Right. Well, that's a pretty big project. That's been 3 years in the making, and now I'm securing my next 1-hour special. So you talked about So I Wrote a Song About It, which is on Tubi TV for free, or you could download it on Amazon, which is a little better quality, and you don't have advertising. But my next 1 hour, I have all this material, and so actually I'm on a week from Thursday, the 21st. I'm doing a show at Flappers in Burbank. And the people who are going to be shooting my 1 hour are coming out that night. And
Perfect.
So yeah, so I'm really excited. So come out and support that night.
Yeah, check
What
it out,
night is
guys.
that? What night is that?
Thursday at 8:00 at Burbank.
Thursday,
21st.
Thursday,
The
the
21st.
the 21st, 8 o'clock, Burbank Flappers.
Yep.
That's right.
Go out and support Lahna.
And
if you
She's
want
very entertaining.
tickets.
I can hook people up to some people. So like get online really quick, and you can find me on social media, Lahna, LAHNATURNER. Just direct message me, and I have a little bit of pull for a certain number of tickets that I
Perfect.
can get people hooked up.
Like the
So-
first few people.
So if they
So-
contact you on Instagram,
Yeah, and just tell me
Direct
that you
message.
heard me on Mentality Show,
Okay.
and then
Tell
I'll,
her show you guys
Okay.
heard
Yeah.
that.
or contact us and we'll put you guys in contact
Thank
with
you.
Lahna.
Yeah, we'll get this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And those are
Yeah,
just-
we'd
Discount.
like to come out too and
Almost
have a good
definitely.
time
Oh,
with you and have-
no, it's going to be
yeah.
a fun night. It's
Yeah,
all
we'd love to come out.
all
Yeah.
women too. It's all girl shows.
Oh,
girl
perfect. There you
power.
go.
So great for men.
This guy performs there every once in a while, and you know.
He does great.
Yeah.
If it wasn't all women, I'd say come do a set.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
We're
Well,
gonna do a show together.
He's
though.
Metro.
He's
I
Metro.
I know, that's right.
He's kind of.
I can squeeze in and maybe do
You're not fooling anyone.
There you go. You see
I'll
that?
shave my beard that day or something.
You can try and tuck your balls all you want. That's not.
That's not going to work for me. There's still going to be some bulging. I promise you that.
In the back.
I promise
Tuck
you
your
that.
balls and wear some leggings.
That's years in the making. Lots of hormones.
Well, Lahna, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here, and we brought you here
Awesome.
to let our audience get to know you, and we also wanted your input on some things that men get confused about. As you know, Valentine's Day is coming up. Okay, it's actually tomorrow, February 14th, and this is our first show, actually our second show regarding I forget what we did last year, but we're going to focus on this year. And there are certain things out there when it comes to women. I always say on this show that women are a paradox wrapped in its own enigma. Because basically, we don't understand you. You're puzzling,
Yes.
And you have about 150 years of man experience here. If you add us all the years together.
And V said it. Women don't even understand women.
Women don't even understand women. That was your cue right there to
right.
say that,
Yeah.
but he missed it. So we got you here today, Lahna. You can break this down for
All
us.
right.
We got a few minutes, and our show is there are questions out there, okay? How to answer those 10 dreaded questions that every woman asks her man, okay? So we want to know what are the best ways to answer some of these questions that women ask their men, okay? There are certain questions out there that will definitely come up at some point in the relationship that will get you as a man caught up. But don't panic, okay?
Yeah.
We want you to breathe,
We'll help
okay?
you.
That's what the mentality show is here for,
Don't
okay?
be the deer in the headlights.
Right.
Don't be the deer in the headlights.
Sorry.
Hey,
Okay.
don't fuck this up, guys.
Yeah, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. We're going to give you some, according to Bold Magazine, there's a certain way to answer these questions. And according to Lahna, and according to the Mentality Show, there's a certain way to answer these questions. So I'm going to ask you this, man. Who at this table feels that they know women the most, besides me and Lahna? Because
Not me.
the reason
No,
why because I have to kind of give the right answer here. So out of Tech C, Vato V,
Not me.
and Scully, who's the best? Who knows women the best?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm a fucking expert. What do you got?
I think Vato V's an expert too because he got
me
the
too.
brusha.
That's
you
right,
know?
the brosha. Right.
Fuck it.
when he eats
because
women-
if my answer isn't right,
When he goes down on
on
women, he has to do something for
That's
them.
right, it tickles.
All right, okay.
That's why I don't have so many gray hairs.
All right, so we just have a few
Pumpkin
minutes for
hairs.
this, gentlemen. So I'm going to ask the question. There's 10 of them. I want you to give me your just a quick answer of what you would say, and then I'm going to give you what you should say according to Bold Magazine. Okay, so I'm going to throw it out there, and Lahna, you can give your opinion
Okay.
as well. Okay, first question. I'm going to say this like a female would say it, okay? I'm an actor, okay? I'm not gay. I'm not metro.
Metro.
There's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ, WD, and all that stuff. All right, but I'm going to say it just to make it fun. Okay, so my question is, does this make me look fat?
Yes.
That's your answer, V? What's your answer, Tech?
No, baby.
No, baby. Smart man right there.
Honesty every fucking time because you're gonna have to take her with you if
Exactly.
she does look
I was
bad.
just going to say, does she look fat?
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? That leads me into our answer here. Okay, when a woman, Vato V, what's your answer?
Well,
by
the thing is
by the way,
this.
don't be cheating looking
I'm
at
not.
the answers
I
right
can't read. No, well. But the thing is this: if your lady asks you, "Am I fat?" or "Does this make me look fat?" and if she is fat, how are you gonna answer the question? Yes, it does. Be honest. You have to be honest.
But, okay, so does a fat girl even ask that question?
I know, right? Does it make me look skinny?
I mean,
Yeah, she knows better. I
Well,
guess, you know.
if you're that big, it's more like, do I make this dress look fat?
Does this?
You know what, Todd? Scully. I just said your real name on so we all know his
you've
real
said
name.
his real name so many times.
I
it
do
doesn't
so
even matter
fucking,
anymore.
It's such a funny question because I've never asked that to Ralphie.
Because you're not fat. Oh yeah, Ralphie. Remember, Ralphie was about 400 to 500 pounds. So
Yeah, no, I mean, what
Does
am I
this
gonna
make me
say?
look
Wait,
fat, right?
did Ralphie ever ask you that?
No,
make me look fat?
yes, I would say yes, it does.
right, that's
You're
funny.
very, very fat.
You got to be honest. You got to be honest.
So it says here, the answer is when a woman asks this question, she loves the outfit that she's wearing, but she's just paranoid that it might show off the wrong kinds of curves. Okay, so first of all, yes is
Thank you.
the obviously the wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
No, absolutely not, or some other variation is a good answer, okay? So if you got to lie to her, you got to lie, okay? Just to keep the peace. If the clothes really do look bad on her, tell her she looks great, but you just don't think that style suits her.
So what you say
as
is-
well as another outfit, okay? That's the answer you want to say.
So what you say is like, you know what? Remember that black dress?
Yep.
I like that one.
Yeah, because black
Yeah.
makes you
A
look
lot
thinner.
better than that one.
Yeah.
So why don't you put on the black dress?
Yeah.
Here's a thought. Okay, so as a woman, I can say I have friends who are women who might put on an outfit and ask me, "Does this make me look fat?" And you have to dance very delicately around that. You
Right.
can be like, you look great,
Right.
Right.
and then you kind of can be nudged towards, but maybe you should wear those jeans. Those look really good the other
There
night.
you go.
And,
go.
or
There
what?
you go.
Because you don't want to lose a friendship.
Your friends are
over
not
it.
going to ask you
Exactly.
anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not going to ask you
But
anymore.
I
They'll be
mean,
like,
bitch, you know you're fat.
Yeah.
How about, hey, if you're worried enough to ask me, maybe you should wear that other outfit,
Or-
maybe pick something else because you're already questioning it.
Come work out with me in the morning.
There you go.
Come,
that
come
means
do
you're
a
fat.
hike.
See, I would know if somebody said that if I was a woman, somebody I'd know, he thinks I'm fat.
There you go.
Well, she said that. Vato V, you would
Senor.
say yes, no, right? So
I'll say yes, no, yes, no.
All right, get into number 2. Do you think that she's prettier or better looking than me? Hotter than me? Okay, what would you say? What would you guys
You're
say?
just setting your first of all, you're
That's a
a dumb
setup.
bitch.
No,
Yeah,
You're
thank
setting
That's a
yourself
fight.
up for failure.
Thank you.
Fight.
So like, but you, that's what do you say to a woman? Like,
I guess if a man's checking a woman out and she sees it, does she say, "Oh, do you think
if
she's
your
prettier
man
than
is
me?"
See, that's
next to
insecurity.
you
That's
and-
insecurity.
yeah.
That's insecurity.
Yeah, but a man shouldn't be checking out another woman in front of his woman
Exactly.
either. That's going to bring on insecurity.
A man shouldn't be
even
checking
if
out
the woman
women,
is secure.
period, with
We
the
should
women.
skip-
With the woman, exactly.
We should skip this one because it's a time waster. It's just fucking dumb.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, as a woman, you can look at another woman and be like, "Is she hot?" And then that could stimulate a different kind of conversation.
that's
Alright,
there you
alright,
go.
alright,
That's
that's
true.
it.
That could
That's
be
hot
kind of
right
hot
there.
and fun.
She made
Yeah.
it.
That was
Yeah.
That's
that
a
was
good point.
awesome.
So be like,
I was
made it
already
good.
moving
you
on.
you could say, "Baby, I like her heels."
There you go.
And I'd like to, and I'm gonna get you a pair of heels just like that. Will you wear them in bed with me, or something
Oh,
like
fuck
that?
yeah.
And now
Smooth.
you got a Valentine.
Smooth.
What do they
email
call
me
those?
that?
Keep me ons? Like keep me on when you're fucking me?
There you go.
Keep me on.
Fuck
Keep me
me
on?
Fuck me
Yeah.
shoes. Or
Have you
whatever.
looking
fuck
at
me.
her jeans?
Okay.
Or I like
Never heard of
those
that.
jeans. Those jeans look, or her hair's real pretty, or whatever. But you don't have to.
Don't say her ass is nice.
Yeah.
Don't say anything about her body parts. Well, it says you should say here, and to me, this is bullshit. You can see right through it. And the woman will know it's bullshit too. But you can fix the situation by telling your woman that you were thinking about how lucky you are to find such a beautiful woman, and you were just noticing how no other woman can compare
that's so cheesy.
to you.
Oh my.
She'll know it. She's going to know that's bullshit. So,
That's so
Yeah.
cheesy.
you know, yeah, it's like, okay, she's going to see right through that. But, you know, the woman will, at least she'll appreciate the effort, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. This person was phoning in their answers. When they were writing that article.
Speaking of phony, you want to chime in?
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Give us a call, 818-570-5085, where the lines are open. Text C is waiting for your call. Okay.
Yep.
Number 3. All right. Dreaded question. You don't want to hear from your girl. Am I like my mother?
Oh Lord.
What is
if-
wrong with this woman?
If she likes,
No,
her
this is
mother-
all women together. These are questions that women all
These are
together.
supposed to be
Insecure
legit.
women, insecure women.
Oh,
These
I
are
don't
supposed
think
to be
that's a bad
legit
question, though.
questions.
so
Huh?
I look like my mother.
you're
That's a
just
horrible
like
question.
your
Well,
mother.
because I
I
think-
want to fuck your mother.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so now you made me think.
And I'm gonna fuck you like I'm your father.
Oh, no.
Daddy?
Daddy.
Call me daddy.
Call me
baby.
daddy.
R. Kelly.
Call me your daddy.
Kelly.
R. Kelly, call me daddy.
Call me Mike Turner.
Hey, oh, hey, hello.
What did you say?
Ike Turner, baby.
That's right, baby.
That's my dad's name.
That's
Mike.
dirty.
Mike. Ike.
The answer's no.
Well, it says here, this one's real tricky. It depends on why she's asking on whether she's like her mother. If she doesn't like her mother, then the best thing to say is, no, you're nothing like your mother. But if she loves her mother and wants to be like her, then say, yes, you're absolutely like your mother. I love whatever. But just think it through before answering, but think it through very quickly.
Answer-
Ask you that question. You have to be quick with it.
That's a mental health question.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I would answer that question with another question.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you ask me that?
Have you ever had a woman ask you that?
I
No,
never had
no,
that.
I've never had anybody
Not
ask me
that
that.
one. That was a lie.
That's
And-
weird.
and you know what? At that moment, you just break up with her.
Oh, yeah.
When that happens, you just be like, you know what?
We're
I gotta
done.
go.
Oh, there's a lot of questions here that's going to make you reconsider
Break
this
up, yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, the relationship's bad.
Yeah, it's
that,
horrible.
that bitch is crazy. She's got other issues.
Yeah.
All right, here's
Bitches are
the
crazy.
dreaded question here, and we all get this question. This is what we all get, no matter what. Plus, men ask this question to women a lot as well. Okay, what are you thinking?
I've asked that.
What are you thinking?
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
What's the best way to answer that question? And it also depends when she asks you that
Well,
question.
what are you doing?
What are you doing when she's asking you that? Are you fucking her when she's asking you that
What
question?
are you thinking?
Yeah. What are you thinking about? You better not say that porn I saw earlier today.
Yeah.
Or your best friend's fat ass or something like that. You better be honest. It depends on when she asks you that question. So we'll
If
say
you're fucking, you'd be like,
What the fuck?
thinking about
you.
Right.
Thinking
about Vato V. What?
I mean, if she asks you that question
Unicorns.
while you're fucking, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means
Thinking about
that means you're not doing it right.
yeah,
Because if she has time to think about
Yeah.
what you're thinking, then,
Oh
then
my
you're
God.
fucking.
something's wrong.
Yeah, you need to put your lasso down.
What are you thinking?
Wait.
No. Right after you come, she asks you that question. And you're like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of my bed. What was
Hey, women out there, if you really want to know what a guy's thinking, wait until after he comes. Okay,
Yeah.
he's going to be his most honest with you
Oh, yeah.
after he busts that nut.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
thinking?
Get the fuck
Well,
out.
Right, exactly. Well, it's about time for you to go. First of all, I got to be at work early in the morning. About to please use that one.
Those
But
are his lines.
I always got to be at work early, man. Every day. It's Sunday. You know.
I gotta go.
Taxi's out front. That's what I'm thinking.
I gotta go.
I just called an Uber for you.
So didn't you get fired? You know, got to hit the grind, man. Got to interview. You know.
I got hired again. I got hired again.
What are you
Sorry.
thinking?
What
Okay,
did they say? What did they say though? You're supposed to say, "I'm thinking about you, babe."
well, you know,
right.
actually, you guys are right here. Says just be honest. If she
Yes.
hates the answer, she might stop asking that dumb question.
Or she might go away.
Or exactly, it depends on who she is, right? Or on the other hand, it could stop. It could just help her find out what a fun, goofy guy you really are, so you can have fun with that question.
I mean, if you know me well enough, you know
Tar-
that if
Tar-
I'm just
Tar-
off in
Scully.
La La Land, 90% of the time I'm thinking about beer, and if you know me well enough, you know
There you
that's
go.
what the fuck I'm thinking about. I'm either brewing it or I'm drinking it.
Beer.
Tara, I
Beer.
just nutted something about digging balls.
All right, guys, we got to move on to number 5. What don't you like about me?
Oh Lord, why? What
Your
This is a trap
questions?
question. This is a trap
Has
question.
anybody asked you that?
I've had
Never
that
asked
question.
that.
I've had that
that
before.
question. What do you, usually it's asked during a fight or during an argument. Well, what is it you don't like about me? Or
Right now,
something like
everything.
that.
I don't like
Go
that
away.
you asked that question.
Yeah, I don't like that question that you ask me dumbass questions. Well, if it usually you want to know the answer here
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
only have a
Yeah.
little time.
Go ahead.
Well, if that comes up, it's usually during a fight.
Bless you again.
Please resist the urge to list all the faults. Do not sit there and go down the whole checklist of what you don't like about her because it doesn't end well. Either refuse to answer or give her a compliment. Okay, best answer. You're perfect to me, and I love everything about you.
Man, that's some bullshit right there.
It works. You know, women, you can tell them bullshit sometimes, and they'll just eat it up, man. It doesn't matter, especially in the middle of a fight. If you're strong enough in the middle of the fight to say, you know what, you're perfect, and I love everything about you. Women usually forget at that time what you argued about.
Man, if a girl tells me what don't you like about me right now, I'll be like, look, this is what I don't like about you right now,
Yeah.
man. I don't want to talk to you right now. We'll talk later.
But you know what's sexy about men for women and women for men is confidence.
Yes.
So, like, you could be the biggest pile of hot garbage and have confidence, and you're going to be attractive.
That's
because
true.
You've got something that people want.
Yeah.
So, like, you
Yes.
sit around and ask all these questions. Probably, like, I'm very insecure. Like, people.
Or you're a stand-up comedian, of course.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucked up. But to ask all these questions is a big turnoff.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
best message for Valentine's Day is don't ask these insecure questions. Like, think before you talk.
Just make love.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
answer to all of these is be honest, because if they don't like the answer, they know it. This is a one-way door you could take.
Good boy.
Yeah, just for the ladies on Valentine's Day, instead of asking, what don't you like about me? Shut the fuck up and suck his dick.
Oh,
Don't
hey.
about him.
There you have it.
That's there you
That,
go.
the quote of the day.
Yeah, can we
Yeah.
turn that up?
We wind it.
When we do our best of, make sure you get that
Yeah.
one. That happened at
Is it-
6:44.
Say it again.
6:44, February
Can you
13th.
say that again slowly.
I want to be a team player for all parties, but like if you really love your guy, then that will be a fun thing for you to do and make him
Yes.
happy. And if he won't care if you're fat.
That's right. That's right.
That will quickly shut him up.
And you are a god.
There you go.
Do
So-
I look
so
fat
Our,
now?
our Facebook just went crazy when he said that.
Really?
Everybody's like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Like,
You broke the internet on that one.
Really?
Yeah, you broke the internet right there.
Everybody who just went on Facebook right now, go to my page and
Yes.
DM me so you can come on
Yes.
Thursday the
Yes.
21st to Flappers.
Please
Okay, I
do.
want
Yes.
you there. I'll do lots of
Yes.
dick sucking jokes for just
yes.
you.
Yes.
Also on Fuck
And
Your
suicide.
Also, in I Want to Fuck Your Facebook, you can also subscribe. Anyway, number 6, how do I look? How do I look? Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Women
good
ask
question.
that
That's a very
question.
good question because
You
wanna-
know what though? If your woman's asking these questions and you're not attracted to that, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just
Right?
thought we should tag everything with how do I look? Sucking your dick. Scroll back up. Just put sucking my dick after all of them. Do you think she's prettier or hotter than me sucking your dick? No.
Am I like my mother sucking your dick?
Oh shit!
Hey, can you do number 9?
Number 9. Do you like my friends / family sucking your dick?
Yes.
There you go. Be honest. Be honest.
Shit.
That's funny. Yeah, so we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, but okay. Do you notice anything different about me sucking your dick? How would you answer that, gentlemen?
When your mouth is full. Yes.
Yes. Pretty much, if we're saying sucking my dick, we're down to answer all these questions.
Hell yeah. Everything about the above.
Are you listening to me?
We just made this show better. Lahna just made the show better.
Yeah. Yeah, so
We're gonna rethink our game plan going forward.
That's so funny though.
So, yeah,
it's
so-
so true though that like I feel like in a relationship on some level, if you're dealing with all this, like okay, so you have a partnership and you're with somebody, and sex is a really important part of that, and
Yes,
it
it
gets
is.
lost in all of the minutia of things that end up breaking up couples because they're consumed by like insecurities and other things.
Right.
When at the end of the day, it's really hard to, pardon the pun, but to be mad at somebody or to feel anything but great after you've orgasmed.
That's
like,
true.
It's nature's cure-all. Like, you feel depressed, come.
Yes.
You won't feel, like, I guarantee,
Fuck.
as soon as
Yes.
you finish, even
Fucking
if you're
come.
fucking yourself, like,
Yeah.
Yes.
that porn is awesome. And when you
Yes.
finish in that moment, you're going to feel great. So it's not going to matter. If you feel fat, you're not going to feel fat. You're going to feel great.
Absolutely.
And so,
Yes.
like, when two people are together on Valentine's Day, don't, you know,
Just fuck.
Fornicate.
Just fuck, fornicate, have fun.
fornicate
you know,
under the consent of the
fuck
king.
someone you love. Exactly.
So this is the mentality show, giving you
Yeah.
permission
Yeah.
to fuck
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
all day long.
I
There's
think
gonna
you
be a lot of fucking
just single-handedly liberated a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
I think people get single-handed. I think a
Nice.
lot of people get caught up with stuff that
Yes.
we're animals.
Bullshit, yeah.
We're animals. You need to eat. You
Absolutely.
need to get exercise. Like in the wild, you need exercise. So people sit around too much. We don't get enough exercise.
Right. It's true.
Right? We need to like laugh and have fun and
fuck.
fuck a lot. because
Fornicate a
it's
lot.
nature. We're just animals.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Who cares? You're not supposed to wear jeans.
Yeah. Right.
You're not
Exactly.
supposed to feel fat in your
Be
clothes.
naked.
Everything is around fucking. What we wear, what we do. You know, what type of career we try to pursue. It's all about
Fucking.
how much pussy am I gonna get out of
Really,
it?
Exactly.
it
You know?
boils down to that because you're programmed to be on this planet to procreate. Really,
Yes.
like
Yes.
I think about that. Like, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, to procreate.
And that's
That's
what
true.
Valentine's Day was designed for.
Exactly.
Let's keep
to
it real.
fornicate.
well, to market fornication so that
Yeah.
somebody can make money off
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
flowers and shit. Hearts.
Y'all get out there now, make us some more taxpayers.
Right? Give me some more money for next year. Dependent.
Do you
right.
plan on getting married again?
No,
Lana? No.
I really, I wasn't big on the idea of marriage. Actually, Ralphie asked me to marry him like 64 times or something. Like he asked me every month on the same day after from the first month that we met.
Yeah.
It was really important to him. But for me, I was like, why do we need a piece of paper? The interesting thing about it was after we got the piece of paper, everything, it really did change us because then I became highly invested. His career was already on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
I love doing stand-up, but I was never concerned with the idea of being famous for it. And so I was very happy to stand in a very big shadow,
Right.
and I could perform my shows and be funny, but really support his career, which
Right.
was generating a lot of money. In hindsight, that wasn't a great move, but it really changed the way I looked because now we're legally and emotionally like a team,
Right.
and so marriage.
You seem like you'd be a great wife, though.
Yeah.
I was.
You seem like you,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and you will.
was.
You seem like you will still be
Yeah.
a great
that's
wife. To be
sweet.
honest with you, you
Aw.
know,
I'm
just
a-
some of the things you mentioned that you've gone through
Fuck
with
yeah.
your ex-husband, and
I was a
that type of
really
thing.
good wife to him, and that was the problem because I was intolerant of the bad behavior, and that was you'll see it in the documentary. I was obsessed with him getting healthy. I didn't see
Yeah.
any other options, and there was another option, and he took it.
yeah,
But yeah, I do consider myself to have been a really good wife. To
Well,
him.
you're a realist. I mean, you're a realist. There's a lot of women out there that bullshit their partner just because they they don't want to fight, they don't want to argue. Just tell me the truth. Constructive criticism is I think should be
Depends
healthy.
on the other
It's
person
healthy.
too. They don't always.
Yeah,
accept
they're
that.
not receptive. Yeah, they're not very receptive. But if that person doesn't understand who you are, then why are you with that person? You know what I mean?
Well,
Doesn't make sense.
our fights towards the end of our marriage were, "You're gonna die," and he was like, "Fuck you."
Wow.
And so, there was no gray area. And
Right.
then
And as soon as he left you, that's exactly what happened.
Well, he was he was on that trajectory when we were together, and I would have stayed with him. I would never have left him. But you'll see in the film, I was really unhappy for a long time because he slept on those pills at his size. He literally slept 22 out of 24 hours a day. He was not present for me or my children, our children.
Wow.
So towards the end of the marriage, I was just living very much alone. I was a single mom a long time before he left and a long time before he died. And that was really hard, but divorce, never even, I thought of it, but I would never have done it because I was his wife and he was my husband. I didn't, it's crazy. I didn't think it was possible to do that. And I wouldn't have left him because he was sick. And through sickness, and the vow is through sickness and in health.
Yeah. And there it is.
So,
well, they say statistically, I read this somewhere, that when you're married people live longer than people who are single.
yeah.
And that's because of good women like you taking care of men like us, you know, because any of us could have been Ralphie May.
Or can be.
And can be Ralphie May. Nobody's perfect, and we're so glad that you were able to share your story and share the process. And please support Miss Lahna Turner. Can you mention one more time? She'll be at Burbank Flappers next week, Thursday, February 21st, 8:00 p.m. Tickets will be available online. Right. Please give them your IG once again.
And I have tons of content on YouTube. I'm really getting into posting more and more videos. I've got that limeade video, so if you are going through a breakup or you're anti-Valentine, there's songs on there. Hated the cunt, fucked his best friend. There's a lot of, because when he broke up with me, it spawned this album. It's so Beyonce's Lemonade.
Yeah.
So
Limeade.
my version is Limeade. So it's a 30-minute visual album, but each video is broken down. A lot of people like the masturbate song. I don't know why. That one seems to get the most views.
You know what though?
All right, we gotta go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna second that for everybody because, like I said, I did stalk you between last night and today, so I did preview all of those.
And he masturbated.
I wanted to. I was in public, so I decided not to.
All right, so we got to go ahead and end this thing here. It was a great show. Before we end, of course, we have to do our Mexican word of the week. Vato V, what is our Mexican word of the week?
Defense.
Defense. And why is defense our Mexican word of the week?
My homie was trying to come back to America, but defense was in the way.
All of our Spanish speakers out there, you know what's
Trump.
up.
He's making defense.
So we want to thank you once again, Lahna Turner, for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was a great
cool.
show, and for sharing your story, sharing your experience.
Check out her Instagram.
Yeah.
What is it again?
Just look up my name. So you got to remember there's an H. Lahna. Otherwise, backwards it spells anal. So Lahna Turner Turner. I think there's an extra R.
There's an extra R in there, yes.
But you can still find me. I don't know why that R is in there.
Very easy to find.
If our mentality shoot you a direct message and they mention us, you hook them up with tickets.
Twitter,
you said, right?
Instagram, or Facebook.
And you hook them up with some tickets. You said, right?
But you have to
guys,
mention
I'm sorry, we got to wrap it up here.
And they'll get a promo code too, right? You guys
I'll
got
make
that.
sure you're
Why do we? Thursday. Are we gonna be there?
What?
We'll try to be there, right?
Yes, we're gonna the show. We're gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we're gonna be there.
Okay,
Yes,
guys.
so you get a chance to meet us as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Lahna?
absolutely.
Have a good time.
Have a good time. So we got to go ahead and all right. So you just saw us today on LATalkRadio.com. Facebook Live. This is live. Facebook Live. www.thementalityshow.com. Check us out. Past episodes on YouTube. LA Talk Radio. Of course, I just mentioned that. Catch us on iTunes, Google Play, and soon to be iHeartRadio. Remember, folks, you're good, but with our help, you could be the best. We'll see you next week.
Vámonos.
Peace.
You're listening to The Mentality Show, only on LA Talk Radio.